Okay, and we are hopefully live. Let me just start playing the Spotify. Okay. Pull up the chat.
Here we are.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, these visuals are sick. Whoa.
Yeah. I mean, they came from your music video, so of course they're gonna
Yeah,
be
but
sick.
it works so well.
Alright, everyone, if you're in the chat right now, let us know if you can hear us alright. And welcome to this episode of the podcast, except the webcam isn't... Okay. Is it working now? No! Stop turning around. Okay. Now it's set up correctly. Hello! Welcome to this super fun episode of the podcast with a super special guest, Enraile. I will introduce myself first. I am Scarlett Lemieux, also known as I play the character Setsuko in the Radiance Project, which is an idol group that I formed. I produce J-pop music, I write and sing and dance, and I do some vapor waving sometimes too. So, would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Enraile?
Sure, let's do it. Hi, my name is Enraile. You can call me Nathan if you want. That's my real name. I also go by Atlas Cries, and I'm part of Eyeclick. Sometimes I go by Millennium Edition or many other ones, but I like to make music on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do.
In the vaporwave tradition, I suppose, with the many aliases.
Yeah,
Although
exactly.
this is probably a strange place to start, but the whole associating with vaporwave thing was one of the first questions that I have. Because I'm already kind of delving into the whole hot takes vapor style hot take opinion territory with this question, but we will get to the general stuff. So vaporwave does appear to be a genre that it's broken it's breaking past its limitations that cause people to label it as a fad, and it's constantly evolving now. And you are an example of one of the artists who has used the vaporwave, kind of the sample manipulation tools that are used in a lot of vaporwave in a way that makes people think are we supposed to consider this vaporwave, or
Right.
So yeah, do you think being associated with that is a little restricting or inaccurate, or are you more just open to being recognized as a part of that community?
To me, honestly, I feel like what I've found out about vaporwave is that the community itself doesn't care if you, well, at least the cool people, they don't care if you don't make vaporwave, just bare bones, exclusively slowing things down like that. All the cool people don't care about that.
Right,
All the people who are like, oh, this isn't real vaporwave, blah blah blah. It's like you're being annoying.
yeah.
But also, I get it. I'm a I I am a massive fan of classic traditional vaporwave. I really love it. Um and I think labeling it as something unique is necessary. But I don't think this scene should be gate kept like that, internally. When everyone's a fan of everyone, and there's so many diverse types of music that make up everything. You know?
I do think that the sort of attitude of gatekeeping was one of the things that caused the whole vaporwave is dead meme to happen. So I myself am very glad that people are open to using those techniques in a way that is new and fresh and different. So yeah.
Right.
And in terms of just your solo music style, you are one of those rare artists who can turn something like vaporwave samples, or even just those sounds that are commonly used in trap or hip hop music that are largely considered dated or cliche, and then turning them into something that sounds this is futuristic, or this is the future of music, or something like that. And your music is something that can really be seriously appreciated in that way. But
Thank you.
others use those some of those specific sample sounds. I don't know if you know the ones I'm talking about, but some of them are kind
Yeah,
of like a nod to like, hey, don't take this too seriously. Like there's a little bit of satire in using them, and I was wondering,
exactly.
yeah, when you chose like those little voice clips or those little sound clips, do you choose it to like maybe do you choose it for satire or do you like evoke nostalgia for a time in which those like weren't dated or just what reason?
You could technically say it's either of those things because I do believe in that, but in reality, when I make my music, I end up just putting those clips in there because it's like sounds cool or it's kind of funny or I don't know, it makes me enjoy it more. But yeah, I do think that like taking myself seriously
He's freaking out.
without like saying that we can't have a little bit of fun while making music or you can't use something that people know or can relate to. I think it's a bit I don't know, not my kind of energy. I love when serious and deep and like fully thought out and nothing kind of takes you out of it, but you know, a lot of my music is just my experiences that I've had on the internet and stuff like coming to
Oh,
it on the internet that like takes you out of a beautiful moment or something serious like that.
yeah. Um, I I do hate to break it to you, but in some of that, your mic was breaking up a bit or something.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
I was probably too far away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it. I think it's some sort of like connection thing, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
but
It could be our internet's like
oh
terrible
no.
recently.
Okay, we will get through it. It was still comprehensible, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, but am I fine now?
Yeah, you are fine now.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Cool and dope.
Okay. Let me just check. Yeah. No, I don't. I think the chat could do that too. I think. Okay.
Did I get the point across? Or
Yes,
was it
you did.
like
Okay. Anyways, we also cannot talk about Enrail without talking about Eyeclick. Congrats again on the
Yep.
Vapor Memory upload of your album. that was
Yeah.
that was
Thank
a
you.
super cool moment, and I'm
Yeah.
sure the process of collaborating certainly differs quite a bit from working alone, and the sound that results from it is definitely different too. You and Will really like make a great combination when it comes to music. So,
Thank you.
what are the most fun parts of that collaboration process for you that you can't get out of making music by yourself?
Um I feel like so when me and Will make iClick music together, sometimes we'll like fight on it. We'll get into like a kind of big argument like I think this needs to repeat 3 times or I think this needs to repeat 4 times and we'll like go at each other about it. And like even though it's like sometimes I like honestly genuinely feel like I'm in the right, it ends up being funny. Um just cuz we're arguing over something so stupid. But yeah, also just I make music by myself all the time. And me and Will have very similar tastes. Kinda. They're kind of really different, but we both know what we like in music a lot. And when we can, put those together and make something new out of it, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the especially like the places that your sample curation for those songs, like not only just the way that you manipulate them, but like all the samples like they fit so well together into like a sort of story and all have the same
Yeah.
atmosphere, and like that's another thing with like these sort of artists with sample manipulation that I like to ask a lot is how do you do your sample hunting? Is it things that you like? Because again with the element of nostalgia, is it things that you remember from past times, or do you like just find things, new things, and then be like, oh, this
I
is
just
cool?
I honestly just find anything that sounds cool. Like I just like I've been just looking for just cool things that I can find on the internet or on different computers or different albums or something. Like and just keep it kind of collected over time just onto my hard drive in random places and like just things that I think are cool or would sound good or I can hear it being part of music or something.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know when. Oh, were you? Sorry,
no, no,
cut
no.
you off.
You can go. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Oh, when you were when Keith was talking to us, and also when we talked with DDS on the Discord, they say that there's like, I don't know, a certain quality of the voice or something that they go for, a certain sound in the instrumental that like they like immediately latch on to something like that, and they choose it because like it's what they enjoy listening to or think would sound good in like a vaporwave context. So, are there
Right.
like specific I don't know, just like specific traits that you look for in
Well,
samples, like signatures or
whenever
something?
I hear something like on the internet, I can envision what I'm going to transform it into, kind of. Like I know what I want it to be or where I want it to go. So I have so many different aliases with different albums like that I'm making and eventually once you just like look on the internet for long enough and create so many things like concepts like everything just fucking matches up. You find a random video on YouTube and be like, "Oh, this is so this album. Like I'm going to download this and sample it." Or stuff like that.
Yeah, the concepts, like I was saying with like the concepts being so cohesive, you also have like this very like signature sound that is very interesting to me, and that isn't like any other like producers in the scene, I feel. So yeah,
Thank you.
I was very
Y-
curious about hearing about that sort of thing.
Yeah, thank you. I like I've learned to produce music like mostly self-taught but very inspired by like other electronic artists and stuff, so I would just kind of copy those things until I learned like a base spot to like start making music from and how it's supposed to be made. So it kind of all, no matter what I do nowadays that's new, it's kind of all the same thing that I learned how to do.
Oh, okay, I see. And you know, I do not. I'm not going to say the what are your influences question, but like leading from that, I there's something a bit similar to that because I wanted to know, since your style is like so different from like all the other artists that I've heard, I was wondering just like what were the artists or the experiences that inspired you to start making like so much music in the first place? Because I know that you were a kind of person who was like, music is really your life, like it's the thing that you were
Yeah,
constantly making. So
yeah.
what was the thing that really gave you that passion?
Well, so initially when I was a kid, I just grew up listening to just like when I was a young kid, like age 2 to 9, it would just be shit that was either on my mom's iPod, like Christina Aguilera and some shit from the 90s and random John Mayer garbage songs. But then when I started getting into like my own kind of music that I found myself, um, I got my first iPod when I was like 8. I listened to a bunch of like hip hop and R&B from the time. And then the first music that I like really found myself and connected to was Linkin Park. When I was like
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was like 10 or 10, I was like 9 or 10 and it was the greatest shit I'd ever heard and I was like, all right, I want to make music. I want to make shit like this. Like I want to be in a band or something.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that was the first like true initial awakening. Um,
Awakening.
but then like I found out about a bunch of different types of electronic music. First being dubstep and electro house and shit like that Skrillex was making when I was like a year into my Linkin Park phase was when I like completely transitioned to dubstep, everything dubstep. I found more and more electronic music from that over the years. Uh, Bunch of hip hop and pop music and rock and roll and a bunch of other shit. But I think vaporwave and Death Dynamic Shroud and all that stuff, that most recent era, was when I like actually like started being like, okay, music is the only thing I can do. Like the only thing I'm good at.
Hearing about that dubstep thing reminded me of like a question that like I ask a lot of my the people that I interview, or like sort of a modification of that, I guess, because I don't know. You've said some things about like how the dubstep community and their like reputation sometimes like almost like kept you from like, but you still had like this confidence in the fact that you still liked the dubstep music that genuinely did come from people's hearts and like wasn't just like the commercialized version of it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And I, there's the whole question that I ask a lot of them about: are there specific genres that you kind of are just like you kind of just generally dislike almost all the time, or you the kind of person that's open to accepting anything as long as it's something that comes from the heart and like you're open to listening to it and giving it a try.
All like any big sort of category like genre of music, I love all of them. If it's like a bit, but when you start like breaking it down to specific like styles, like for example like a insurance commercial, like stomp clamp stomp clap, like hey ho,
Oh
like
yeah, I know exactly
acoustic
what you're
guitar,
talking
like
about.
any music that kind of sounds or feels like that is just really gross to me. And there's a lot of times I can just imagine like the kind of people who listen to something and kind of judge it based on that. Sounds fucked up. But there's so much like fucking just like nonsense like American Ninja Warrior core like bullshit out there. There's like, I don't know, it just feels all corny as hell to me. It's not that I feel like I can pick out anything in a song, out of any song, and say like, oh, I like this about this. Like there's at least something redeeming about it.
Yeah, you
But
can
there's
always
some
look for the
things that
positive.
just the overall experience lead me away from trying to find the thing that I like about it.
Yeah, that's true. And when you were talking about like the I don't know, like getting into the smaller like divisions of genres, were you were you referring to like the whole like very niche like subgenre thing, or were you just like
Yeah, kind of, but also like it's not really a label. To me, it's just the way certain songs or things feel. Certain like,
oh
because
okay.
not always is a genre gonna be like completely uniform. There's always something unique in it that you can find and enjoy. But there's like, I don't know, there's certain things that I'm just not fond of, like the way that things sound. I just don't uh
Oh, we're getting into that
appeal.
conversation again.
Yeah.
I remember this one.
Yeah.
The types of sounds that you were inherently averted to.
Y- yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Huh?
I try to find the good in everything because there's something about everything I can enjoy, but sometimes I just can't. There's always, if it's just if you're being forced to listen to music, like I don't know, at a restaurant or like on hold on the phone with like Xfinity customer service or something, like you, sometimes it's just forced onto you, and you're like, I can't enjoy this no matter what. I'm not choosing to listen to this. Like I have to listen to the radio a lot, and I just get pissed off. I'm like, God, play a fucking good song already. Like, come on,
Yeah.
like.
They play the same song like 5 times over.
Well, I found like a couple really good radio stations here in LA. Well, like good radio stations that I can actually listen to while I'm driving that aren't like something just god awful. And anytime they play a song I don't want to hear, I just get like pissed off. I'm like, oh my god, play the next song already.
Yeah. It is interesting that you brought up like the stuff about restaurant music and hold music and stuff that's made to like serve a certain atmosphere, because I've noticed that there are like a lot of the concepts in vaporwave are made to like kind of make fun of that and like be like, this is music that was created for a certain purpose, but like warping it and taking it out of that context makes it, I don't know, social commentary or something. And
Right, yeah, exactly.
some people execute that well, and then and like are able to warp it in a way that is genuinely unsettling. There have been a lot of times in which some albums have actually been unsettling in that way, and then there's other ones where it's just like, this just kind of feels like the hold music, but just like lower
Right.
pitch.
It's entertainment like created exclusively for I don't know, like business or like filling space. It's not made by people who like are so passionate about that thing that they're making, that they're putting fun energy into it and, you know, making it for themselves or the sake of making music. But the good thing is that I feel like with music, even like the most corporate, like sellout kind of pop music, it's made by people who actually care about making something that they enjoy. And you can always kind of hear that in it. You know, like, I'm not like, I think, I'm not going to say that. I forget if there's some Taylor Swift enjoyers like around who would call me out for this, but like, there's just a lot of like, I feel like with movies or TV shows or other art forms, it's a lot easier to tell when something is completely soulless and corporate and made exclusively for money. But with music, they're kind of good at disguising that by making by using like fucking psychology or something to make the music sound good.
Right. Yeah, there is definitely times where you can like detect like that they're being like artificial about the emotions and stuff, but like, you know,
Right.
I am also the kind of person that's willing to accept anything if you know, I know that it comes from the heart and anyway. As
Yeah.
long as it's, because music is uh first and foremost like creative expression that's inspired by people's experiences, and as long as it's not made by AI, it's made by someone, I guess.
Yeah,
If it's made,
totally.
if it's not made for like scientifically trying to guess how people will feel, and if it's like actually
Yeah.
made from someone's feelings, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, there's a lot, there's like some the thing is that like some of that like you can enjoy it, you know. Like they make it to be enjoyed. Like they I don't know. I'm thinking about like uh crossover movies
oh, I
and like
see. Yeah.
Marvel movies and like random shit that's like you can tell they did all of this exclusively for money, and that the people who were working on it weren't they weren't passionate about making the thing. They were passionate about how much money they're gonna get from it.
Right. There are almost those sorts of like collaborations in music too, because like As much
Yeah,
as
exactly.
as much as I really enjoy a lot of Doja Cat's music, I don't know why they felt the need to put her in a Post Malone song other than the fact that it was like two famous artists collaborating.
Yeah,
And it
exactly.
didn't fit the
That
tone of
they're
the
not
album.
collaborating because like, oh, I think our styles would suit each other perfectly and it would sound like really good and be a unique experience. It's like this person has 1 billion monthly listeners, this person has 500 million monthly listeners. We need to stick them together like
Right. Yeah,
to
that one
share
is.
their audiences and make more money for the record label that owns both of the artists.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there is a lot of that out there as well. But going back to like the discussion about Enrail that we were having, one
Oh yeah, that's right.
yes, this is supposed to be about you. One thing that
Yeah.
no, I wasn't saying that seriously because we have,
I know.
if you've seen our episodes, we have a lot of musical tangents about a lot of different musical things. So that is
Yeah.
par for the course and encouraged. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, one thing that you have that differs from some of our other guests is often like making appearances at live venues or TikTok where you're making an image for yourself that includes, showing your face and just being yourself and having fun, And
Yeah.
I do really admire that approach to it. Let's get into the concerts first.
Yeah.
You know how to get the crowd hyped. You are a natural at that.
Thank
You're
you.
really good.
I try. The thing is that like I play like exclusively, like almost exclusively music I made, and like most of my music turns out being something where if I think about playing it to a crowd, I'm like, oh fuck, it's gonna be hard for them to dance to this. Like they're not gonna be able to figure it out. Like
That is
there's
not
too much.
true. Your music slaps.
Thank you. But I think in like a concert scenario, there's just been moments like I've only played like I don't know like 10 shows like with Enraile music, and there's certain songs I play that I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna get everyone jumping. It's gonna be fucking awesome, and then I look at the crowd and like nothing's happening, and I'm like, oh well,
No.
I guess I won't play this song anymore.
Oh
I
gosh.
should have made it differently, I guess.
No. Well, I mean, at least at least you're making it like from the heart and for the sake of something that you want to listen
Yeah,
to. So
true.
yeah. So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think we need to change it for that because I mean, I've only heard good things about like all of your concerts, and I do hope to
Thank
go to
you.
one someday. And I was going to ask about that because you said that you've only like uh done like 10 shows as using the Enrail name, but are you a person that's like has experience with like performing on stage or DJing or something like that before
Yeah.
like the Enrail
Yeah.
or Eyeclick stuff?
Yeah, it hasn't been like a ton of it. Like I joined me and Will and our friend Sean made a band called Cucks when we were like 16. Um and we played noise music. And Seattle has a pretty decent sized noise scene. A lot of cool artists, but so we played a lot of those shows, but there was no pressure because I was literally just smashing shit on a keyboard, which was really fun. And only 2 people would show up to like every one of our shows. Like we did have like 2 like decent sized crowds of like 50 people, and I did feel kind of nervous about it. But the thing is, at a noise show, it's like you can't fuck up. There's no such thing as fucking up, which is very liberating. Um, Other than that, I've DJ'd for like I don't know a couple parties. Nothing big or crazy, and just only a couple times. But I've always enjoyed kind of like being the center of attention in a public place. But, like, not embarrassingly. So, yeah.
Yeah, so, I suppose, like, doing the Enraile stuff requires a bit of a, a bit of a different, technique, like,
Yeah.
for keeping the crowd engaged and stuff. than
Yeah.
the noise show.
Yeah. They're both very fun in their own ways and, like, sometimes equally fulfilling. Like, it feels just as good. There's just something fun about forcing a bunch of people to listen to your music and seeing how they react to it. And, like, rating yourself based on how they react to it. I don't know, it's like a little game. Fun.
One of our chat members says, ask what the best noise show he's ever played at a local teen center.
Oh my god. Oh, that's a Chua. I wonder if he's with my friend Keegan right now.
Oh.
It could be. I don't know. I didn't play this show. I was just there, but Will and my friends Blake and Eric, they were in a different band together called Mars Hill, and they like played some shows at like some place called the Redmond Firehouse. It was kind of like a local teen like venue, and they got like banned from playing there twice for like throwing their gear around.
Oh wow.
Like at the end of the show, they would like smash their drums. They got banned from playing there a couple times. It was kind of a funny story. I've never gotten banned from anywhere, but I played in fucking record shops. Like we played in a parking garage once or twice actually. Oh, okay, yeah, no, so you have seen the footage. That footage just got leaked. Like I didn't see that until like a couple weeks ago, but I recorded like their whole performance where they got kicked out.
No.
You don't see them getting kicked out because that happened after they finished and went off the stage, but
Is this
yeah.
like was this like leaked publicly or was this just
No,
something that you found?
privately.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No one else cares except for us. It's like I just didn't see the footage. It was on like my friend's dad's old ass camera, and I guess it like just got uploaded or something.
I wonder if we're gonna have people from the DDS court after this asking like, "Where's the video, Enraile?"
Yeah, I don't even. I need to find it again.
Yeah.
But it was a sick performance.
Yeah. Another going back to like the whole your sort of persona, I suppose another unique part of your identity in comparison to individuals in the community, like we were saying, like I mentioned before, is your TikToks, and
Yeah.
content creation is something that I've like wanted to talk about on here before. I think we touched on it briefly with like Colin, because Colin was also someone, or Cheap Polaroid.
Yeah.
Is someone who also like is constantly making something. Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same with you. You're always someone who's constantly making something, and yet you somehow like find the time to like get this fan base on TikTok as well. And
that was all like the thing is I've always kind of thought TikTok is like stupid and like terrible, and I don't want to be on it, but I was like, you know what, like I need to get an audience. Like I need some people to know about my music. I'm gonna download this app because it's the social media that everyone's on. I'm gonna make some videos, and then I just kept making stupider and stupider videos because I kind of accepted the fact that like you can't make a TikTok and have dignity about it ever. There's like that's just how I feel. Like I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my music by like turning it into a piece of content that people watch for 4 seconds and then scroll away and forget about immediately.
Yeah, that's true. The way that people like market their content on TikTok is so like very specific, like when they have to cater to like
Right,
a very specific group of people or algorithm or something.
right. Yeah, no, I don't want to like pander and like kind of dumb my music down. It's kind of what it sounds pretentious, but like it really makes me feel like my music isn't art anymore. It's like just content. I think
Right,
that's
yeah.
like that bothers me.
That's
So my
definitely
TikToks have always
understandable.
been as stupid as I can make them, and people, I guess, like that.
Yeah, because I was going to say, do you feel like in the music industry, just in general, now it's necessary to brand yourself in that way in order to establish a fan base, or do you think it's just like something that musicians should like, occasionally do for fun and
Yeah. Well, I think that is like as of right now the most prominent and I guess like easiest way to gain traction, like and build an audience is by making TikToks. But I think I was talking with Tech about this the other week. He said like I was like I don't want to have to do that. Like I was just explaining to him how I didn't want to have to do that, and he was like, "Well, like we came to the agreement that all that stuff like even though it is like engagement and um like numbers going up, which is good, the people don't stick around, and it's not the people aren't real. Like they're not super valuable like people you meet organically is. But I think the best artists that have sustained for the longest are the ones who have just made good music and waited for people to hear it, and waited for people to share it to other people because they were confident enough about it.
yeah.
And I think those people are destined to be more successful and have a healthier relationship with how they make art, than people who turn it into like little gimmicky videos.
Yeah. It's funny that you were saying that about Tech because, like, in the few TikTok videos that I've seen of Tech, like, you and him had that kind of similar approach of like, okay, let's
Yeah,
for
we're
some of the
just
videos,
being stupid
it's like
because it's funny.
let's just separate this from my music and just have some random thing about juice or an ice cream
Yeah,
review.
yeah,
Yeah. And
exactly.
those are always really entertaining just because, like, I mean, you have a personality in general that I think a lot of people are, I don't know, I think that people think that seeing that sort of silly personality, it does gain a lot of traction, but as you said, that is kind of like a more temporary thing than like actually,
Yeah,
listening to the music and paying attention to that in a more serious manner.
yeah. I also do like. I just think it's just people having fun. It's people are gonna do what they
Yeah.
want to do, and it's not that serious. That's just how I feel about myself, like how I view it. But I still like really enjoy just making stupid videos or jokes on social media because that's just fun. It's just a thing to do. It doesn't really have to do with my music. It's just me as a person.
Right. So you're not one of the people who's like, oh, I have to have this like very specific image that I like,
Yeah,
keep all the
no.
time. Because a lot of people are like, okay, I have to like advertise my music in this certain way and like keep like pushing it in people's faces. But like in your TikToks,
Right.
you're not like that. You're just a chill guy who makes good music.
Thank you.
Those vibes
Thanks.
are good.
Yeah. No, I think taking I don't want to take things too seriously ever. I still want to just like have fun.
Okay, now DDS is playing on the. Okay, I have to stop that. DDS started playing on the Spotify.
You can play DDS. That's like the same thing, basically.
Same thing. I mean, with like Space World 2000 and stuff, I would like Tech has said that that was the thing that made him think that, like, New World was actually, like, becoming an established thing instead of a joke. So you are
That
kind of
was
one of the
that
people
was the
who,
crazy shit ever when I heard that on like
yeah,
he did like some podcast interview and he said that and I was like, "Oh my fucking god."
yeah,
Like I
that
like
was so
lost my mind.
cool.
I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was very nice of him to say. I mean, to be fair, it kind of is what I'm doing. I'm like copying a lot of things from them and trying to get the same feeling without, exactly replicating everything they do.
oh, trust me, you and me both.
It's yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's how you learn how to make music. That's what I did for 10 years. I just copied other people and I would still make things that were like that I felt were original and unique, but like that's how I learned a lot was just
yeah,
seeing what other people do and kind of studying it just by
yeah.
listening a lot.
I do understand what you mean by that because I think one of the things that like got me to start actually like expanding my music like ironically was like trying to replicate what other artists had done that I liked because
Right.
yeah, I initially thought I kind of had to put myself in a box of like what my abilities were, or like I would have to like outsource the production to somebody else if I didn't know. But I was like, you know what? Let me just like look at these, let me just listen to the instruments that they're using and see if I can find something that makes me feel the same way as that instrument does, or something like that. So
Yeah.
was that kind of an experience that you had in a way as well? Or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, oh shit, what was I gonna say? I'm like, I'm, I'm high as balls right now, but I feel like uh, the more, you know, people that you listen to and are inspired by and try to replicate, um, the more it just expands your like literal brain and how you can see connections to things.
Yeah.
You can try to replicate something else and then hear something else in it and branch it off and turn it into something else. It's all these crazy mental connections that you just make in your brain.
Right. Oh, we have another question about. There's a 24-minute video on your channel. And it says, can you ask
Oh,
Enraile what game he's playing?
oh, that's like I made this stupid YouTube channel. It was my bit inspired by my friend Keegan, called Sega Saturn Bosnia. That's just a bunch of stupid, random, funny videos. Um, and one of the videos is I called it like Grand Theft Auto 6 leaked footage, but it's footage from this game for the Nintendo 64 disc drive called Mario Artist Polygon Studio. And yeah, it's just me playing that game for like 24 minutes. This little driving mini game. I fucking love that game. It's so cool.
Why do I feel like I've heard your name in reference to GTA before? Maybe I've heard people talk about that video before. I don't
No,
know.
there's I don't know, it probably has like 2 views.
Oh.
Um, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't GTA. Uh, I've played GTA.
Maybe I'm confusing you with Fang.
Oh yeah, Fang's like a GTA character or something
He
like that.
is.
Like,
Shout out to Sang the Werewolf.
yeah, shout out Fang the werewolf.
More like Fang the Goat. Okay, I'm gonna stop now.
Fang the Fang the Mang.
Yeah, while we're talking about those video games, I think, and this also kind of relates to the branding thing because your music also does have a very specific like aesthetic associated with it that takes like inspiration from New World and it takes like inspiration from video games and all this sort
Yeah.
of cool stuff. And I wanted to know how you kind of developed that part of it, like the kind of concept behind your visuals and like the sounds that are implemented in there. Like that sort of I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, how did you develop your aesthetic, because that sounds way too vaporwave.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go there. Like,
Well,
what was that?
yeah. I just love fucking video games. I love video games. And yeah, I guess aesthetic would be the right word in this scenario,
Yeah.
regardless of its vaporwave definition. But that contributes to my aesthetic a lot. It's just old video games and memories I have of playing video games and rare fucking hidden secrets and unreleased versions of video games. I just think all that shit is so cool. That's another one of my other like kind of passions. Is just like enjoying fucking video games
My dog
and
is clopping over there.
random knowledge and stuff about them. I think that does play like a very important part, at least in all the names. Like you can tell just by like reading the names of like all my songs and albums that I'm into video games.
This is entirely unrelated to the conversation, but my my dog, in case you cannot hear it, is
I can hear your dog, yeah.
listening to the Enraile songs and dancing over here. He's like
Your
rolling
dog's
around.
dancing.
Kind of. He doesn't. Sometimes when he hears music, he will just like start, I don't know, running around everywhere. And it sounds like the. I'm sorry, it sounds like the meme where it's like, oh, my dog is dancing, but it's really having a stroke. But no, it is not.
Yeah.
He just genuinely, he does a little dance. I don't know how to do
Yeah.
it, but he's doing
I-
the dance. So
I
he
love
enjoys it.
dogs. I'm a big fan of dogs.
Nice. Again, instead of a similarity between you and Tech, this time it is a
Yeah,
difference between
exactly.
you and Tech.
I think Tech's turning around on dogs though. I met Kilo, which is Luna's dog, and Kilo is a very, very, very sweet dog
People bubble
who
dog.
who loves just getting pet and doesn't make a single sound. So I think that's new for him. He found a dog that he likes.
Yeah, except now he has a tweet where it looks like he's killing the dog.
Yeah. This shit is so funny. Like, even though I love dogs and I'd like do anything for dogs, like making jokes about like about how dogs suck and like harming dogs. I don't know why, but it's so funny. It's fucked up.
Oh gosh, the human race is strange. As we
Yeah.
have seen in some of the things we've talked about, are the rationale behind some of the things that humans do is
Right.
like,
Right.
like with gatekeeping or stuff like that. All
Yeah.
humans are strange.
Exactly.
Society.
Exactly. We live in a society.
We live in a society, and hold on, let's see. Kathy, Tech's current character arc is amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true.
Like dog betrayal arc.
Character development, and then revelopment.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I mean, okay, yeah, it's coming up to about 50 minutes, so this is about the time when we get through the last of our questions, and then we have our last little thing.
Cool.
I know we've talked about like a lot about the stream of making content and stuff, but now we get to talk about a thing that I mentioned earlier, which is like the stream of like you constantly making music. And I think
Right.
we touched on this with Colin a little bit, like that sometimes it is difficult to stay motivated with that sort of thing, and sometimes it starts to feel like for some people, if you do it so frequently, it starts to feel like a chore or a daily thing. And I
Yeah.
wanted to know how is it that you stay on that grind? How do you stay motivated by that? And always
Well-
find these new creative things to do also.
Yeah, the thing is, I just always have so many ideas of new things to make, so there's never something for me to not do. And I feel like I don't get that feeling of it's a chore or I have to do this or I get this is getting too repetitive, and it doesn't feel like I'm grinding, you know? It just feels natural, like that's just what I'm doing. It's like the only thing I like care about that much, I guess. But I used to have like a bunch of like writer's block and stuff when I was more limited by what I listened to and the music I made. But, you know, like as of recent, like the past 4 years, I've just like always had this like feeling of I need to make something right now or else I'm gonna go crazy. Like I
Yeah,
like a necessity.
like having
An
all that bottled up creativity or whatever that you want to express.
Exactly. I drive around all day at work and do a bunch of stuff, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, when I get home, I'm gonna sample this.
Yeah,
Like,
that's so cool.
it's not a chore to me. Like, my room is fucking disgusting, and like, there's so much shit I have to do, but I don't want to do it at all, even though I have to. I like prioritize music for some reason.
Gotta stay on that grind, I guess.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for like people who are aspiring to, I guess, find, I don't know, that rhythm of being able to like find their identity and like that stream of creativity where they want to like keep creating and keep making music. Like, do you have any advice for people who are just starting out and are trying to find like where they fit in, I guess?
Yeah. I feel like people should just like truly develop. This is hard to say because like I don't know if this is something you can just do, but like by just developing a passion for something, it all kind of just falls into place and you figure out what you like to do and what you want to do, and everything else is just like it's not even an obstacle, it's just some other bullshit you have to deal with. Like, think if you just make music and listen to music every day, like kind of like unhealthily obsess over it, then you'll be fine. But some people can't do that, and I don't know what to say to them. Unfortunately.
I am currently in my phase of like obsessing over just like listening to music all day.
Right.
That might also be a product of the fact that I'm now addicted to Last.fm, but we don't talk about
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I'm still figuring it all out too. Like I don't I'm not like super experienced or like I'm not a wise man who's
You're not
like or a
experienced. Don't sell
philosopher.
yourself short, dude.
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
I said, what do you mean you're not experienced? Don't sell yourself short, man.
Well, no, I am experienced, but like I like don't know how I feel about music or why I feel the way I feel about music sometimes. So I feel like I'm unqualified to tell other people why they should or how they could feel a certain way about music. But just like based on what I do, it's just like listen to a bunch of different types of music and find things you like about all of it and make things and be creative and have fun.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so it looks like we are now on the last question, and that is just, what is next for Enraile? What are we going to, do you have anything that you want to, like, shout out that we can expect from you in the future? Like, new projects and stuff?
Yeah, I just finished up my new like main album. That's like gonna be like a I guess like a final part to the trilogy of my last two albums. Even though it doesn't like represent anything's ending in particular, it just feels right to do that for some reason. Um, but yeah, the album's called Deep Fake Fantasy. Um, I'm kind of scared to name it that because I don't want people to think it has anything to do with like deep fake like porn or anything. Like I just named it that because it sounded cool. Like
It does
that's
sound very
like basically it. But yeah, that's. I want to try to release it on May 5th if I still haven't hit the fucking label back up. I still need to get it mastered. But yeah, it's definitely coming this year. Thank you, Kathy. I'm excited for people to hear it too. It's my best one yet.
Yeah, I'm definitely so excited for it too.
Thank you. 1 second. Hang on.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm also working on we're like almost done with the new Eyeclick album, and we want to release that this year too. Um, that's gonna be epic. I just have to go to Nashville at some point to finish it. I don't know what that's gonna be. But yeah, we're gonna release that too, and then I'm working on 13 more Atlas Cries albums. I think like probably like 8 of them are already done. And just a bunch of other random shit that I'm working on too, like
You guys can still hear it, right?
different aliases and remixes and some collaborations, and there's so much shit going on. I'm very excited for all of it.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks. Hear it
Yep.
here first. New Eyeclick. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm very, very hyped for that as well. Because
even the dog's excited.
That is true. He is barking very loudly right now, and I hope that people were still able to clearly hear what you were saying about Eyeclick. Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay, anyways, sorry that the dog has been crazy today, but that is that is all for this stream. Thank you guys so much for coming, and thank you to Enraile for all of your Okay, anyways, thank you to Enraile for all of your insight and all of the cool stuff that you told us that you announced, and the advice that you gave.
Thank you for having me on. It's been very fun.
Alright, bye everyone!
Bye. See you later.